Hello, world. Hello, America. Welcome to the first episode of the Carcell Pod. Let me introduce myself. My name is Carcell Devont Gilliard. I was born on July 1st, 1994, in Phoenix, Arizona. Born and raised here in America. I got a really big story to tell, so I hope you guys are excited to hear my story. Yeah, so first, I guess I could talk about my childhood, and growing up and stuff like that. So I was born in Phoenix, Arizona. My mom name is Sharon Smith, and my dad name is Brandon Gilliard. And it's funny how they met. They actually met, well, not met, but got together when they was really young, and when they was teenagers. It's crazy because like they got together because it was kind of like they got hooked up with each other. Like my dad asked my mom's friend to hook her up with him, and it happened. You know what I mean? But I think that's pretty cool. Like that's a pretty cool origin story. You know what I mean? Pretty interesting, and it's pretty funny. But yeah, that's a part of my upbringing. You know what I mean? Just how my mom and dad met. I think that's pretty special. But yeah, like that's how my mom and dad met. Had me when they were, I think 21. And they was 21 years old. Yeah, and they said I was, when I was born, I didn't cry. They said I was quiet, and the doctor had to tap the bottom of my foot to make me cry when I was born. After the doctor tapped my foot, I started crying. I think that's pretty crazy. That I was a quiet baby. I'm naturally a quiet person. I'm not gonna lie. It might be the cancer in me. The shy side of my life. But yeah. But I'm just chilling here. You know what I mean? December 12th, 2025. 12:06 p.m. Phoenix, Arizona. That's a cool date. 12/12/2025 at 12 p.m. That's when I started the pod. Okay. I didn't even pay attention to that too, by the way. But yeah, I'm excited to start this pod. You know what I mean? I'm excited to talk about myself and let you guys, hear about the side of me that nobody really heard about before. And there's a lot of new people here that's interested in who Carcell is, so I'm proud to tell my story. So, but yeah, from Arizona. One interesting thing about me is that I have sickle cell disease. I got it from both of my parents. Both of my parents have the trait, so that's how I ended up having a sickle cell. I have two sisters from my biological parents. I have two sisters, and so it's three of us, me and my two sisters. My oldest sister's name is Shalise, and my younger sister's name is Chanel. But my younger sister passed away when she was 11 months from sickle cell because she had sickle cell as well. I was really young. I think I was only like 2 years old when she passed away. So I don't really have like that much memories of her. I have vague memories of her when I was young. I think I remember like her laughing at me on the couch or something like that. And like I think I remember like sharing food a little bit or something like that. But yeah, yeah. I would say I miss my little sister, but it's more like I wish that I had more memories of my sister, my little sister. But that's life, you know what I mean? That's just life, you know. But my older sister is super dope, like the coolest sister ever. You know, grew up together, and it was a great upbringing with my sister, you know, and the whole dynamic of me, my sister, and my mom and dad was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. That first decade, the whole first decade, I love it. You know what I mean? Like, it was so much fun growing up. You know, like, we had so much fun. My dad and my mom made sure that we had fun, and we was never stressed out or depressed about anything in life. You know what I mean? So, yeah, like, it's pretty cool to think back and reflect on life and stuff like that. But my dad is very talented. My dad's super talented. My mom is too. Both of my parents are talented. So, you know what I mean, it was only a matter of time before, you know what I mean, before it got to me, you know. My dad taught me and my sister how to draw when we was really young. And got us into a lot of stuff when we were really young, like things that like hobbies and things that I feel like most people should start when they're young, you know what I mean? Like drawing and dancing and rapping or whatever, you know, like just anything that's productive and, you know what I mean, good for you, like for your development and who you're gonna become when you get older. You know what I mean? I had a good sense of what I wanted to do and what I liked at a young age because of that, you know what I mean? So I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for my parents for being so talented and cool, you know. But those are my parents. My parents are cool and talented. You know, and as I got older, I'll say like around, let's say like around like 16, around 16, I was in high school. You know, when I got older, I was just more, well, actually, let me go back, because I don't want to skip anything. So let me go back. Alright, let me go slow. Alright. So, yeah, growing up was cool. I have cool parents. I just remember falling asleep to music a lot as a kid, which is crazy. Like loud music, because my dad is a DJ. So that's one of my like core memories, is like watching TV without the noise on it, without the audio, and like reading their lips, and it's like you kind of like create a story, your own story of like what they're talking about and stuff like that. Like me and my sister used to pretend like well, we knew what they were saying, but we would make up our own words of what we thought they were saying with the lips, like the way their lips would move. Like we would just watch it. But the music be playing though. My dad would be DJing or getting prepared to DJ, so he would just be getting his set ready or whatever. And yeah, me and my dad would just, well, I wouldn't say set. My dad didn't really do sets. He's more like a, well, actually he put together sets. He put together sets like to play, like that's already made, like a mix. There we go. He makes mixes. Like he puts the mix together before he goes out and plays it. Plus he freestyles too. But it was cool to see that growing up. It inspired me when I got older to still do, or to do it, you know what I mean? Let me not jump ahead, but yeah, I ended up, me and my sister actually, both of us started young, like when it comes to music, like because my dad recorded me and my sister rapping a song that he wrote when we were 6 years old. two songs and a video. That's where I started in music. Well, not seriously, but you know what I mean, but not seriously, but started music. That was my first experience, real experience in the studio and on the microphone, you know. I started young. It's a core memory now, you know what I mean? So yeah. Yeah, but it's fun like thinking about those memories. Like all the home videos for the proof, you know what I mean? Like just in case people want to see it and want to know, like, dang, is Carcell telling the truth? Of course I am, you know what I mean? Like I started really young, like original soundtracks that my dad wrote, you know what I mean? And me and my sister performed. Like it's dope. Like a lot of people don't start off that young in music, you know what I mean, doing music. Like, so whether it was for fun or whether it was for serious, you know what I mean, it's experience, you know, that we could all look back at, you know. So but yeah, that's my really young life, like, you know, 6 years old and stuff like that. But the rest of my life, you know what I mean, was like my young life was just, to be honest. Whoa, what am I talking about? Hold up, let me go back. See, like, this is the cool thing about pod, and this is my first episode, so I'm just brainstorming and just really going back and starting slow, you know what I mean? So it's just cool to start slow and to go slow and think about it like in a slow way versus thinking about it in like chunky ways, in chunks and stuff like that. But yeah, let me go back to when I was really young. Alright, so boom, right? I'm not good with locations and stuff like that. Like I wish I could tell you guys, like, right now, I could tell you in the future, but not on this episode. But I wish I could tell you guys where some of these locations were, stuff like that. Like I want to tell you, like, the details of how the apartment looked, but I was just too young. I didn't really pay attention to that stuff. But 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 yeah, we was like mostly on the south side of Phoenix and the west side of Phoenix growing up. You know, mostly in the neighborhoods. We didn't really go out too much. We would go to the park every now and then to have like a family gathering and stuff like that. So that's what I'm used to growing up. You know, being around a lot of family. Like, but it was great though. Like, growing up like that. Because the reason why is I feel like it built me into a more socially understanding type of person. You know what I mean? It's like, I think growing up with that much people will make you understand a lot of different type of personalities because you're forced to be around so much people, you know what I mean, that feel different, think different, and stuff like that. So, but I feel like that molded me into the man that I am today. And I'm proud of who I am now. You know what I mean? I am. But let me go back though. But I want to tell you guys something interesting that happened to me. Another interesting thing, because let's not downplay the music stuff, all right? Because I really went in, all right? I went in when I was young. It's not a game. I was really a rapper, you know what I mean? But something else happened to me when I was 8 years old. So I started rapping when I was 6. And when I was 8 years old, something special happened to me. And let me remind you, I have sickle cell. You know what I mean? So I can't do a lot of things that normal kids could do at this time. But let me not jump ahead. So I'm 8 years old, right? I'm living near downtown Phoenix. I think on Buckeye, near Buckeye or Buckeye, somewhere around there. So, my mom one day wanted to do something for me, so she called the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So she called the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and then they ended up coming to my house. And I ended up getting a wish granted by the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So what happened was, we was we was just in the living room, just a regular day. And then we got a knock on the door, and then I don't remember exactly what happened, but you know, they walked in, whatever, and then they began to explain that, you know what I mean, who they were and why they were there, stuff like that. And they ended up coming around and asking me basically what do I want, what is my wish, what do I want to wish for, you know what I mean? So I was just like, I was just a little like surprised, you know what I mean, at first. And I was just like, wow, okay, wish, all right, okay. 8 years old, like, so my 8-year-old mind just automatically went to, you know, my mind personally, my mind went to superheroes and comic books and stuff like that, you know what I mean? So my little brain was just brainstorming about like the coolest things that I've seen so far, you know what I mean? I'm only 8 years old, so there's only so much I've seen. But well, I just thought about like the coolest things like I could think of, and I ended up brainstorming about all types of stuff, but well, not really all types of stuff, but like cartoons and stuff. But I ended up making a wish to be Spider-Man. I made a wish to be Spider-Man, and then I think like a few days later or something like that, I don't know. They ended up sending me, I think they sent me some toys, some Spider-Man toys at first. In a bag. It came in a blue bag, blue Make-A-Wish bag. It had like a Spider-Man car, a little Spider-Man action figure, stuff like that. Like a little Spider-Man gift bag. Then, I think a few days later, I ended up getting picked up by them in the limousine, and they told us we was going to the Hyatt Hotel downtown Phoenix. I was like, what? We going to a hotel? Man, that was great. Like, that I felt fancy. Like, I'm in the limo. My G's. Dang. I'm in the limo. Man. I'm only 8 years old, but I was, man. I was like, I was trying to post something up. I was trying to celebrate. Limo. But, anyways. Close to the Hyatt Hotel, downtown Phoenix. Get there. And, I'm probably butchering this story right now, for real. Like, I need to ask my mom and my dad, like, how it went down. But I'm just going based off of, like, vague memory, you know what I mean? Like, blurry, super blurry memory. Like, 8 years old? Come on, guys. But anyways. Got there. Got to the hotel. Right? And, we was there for a little bit, I think. For a little while. Got there. And then, all of a sudden, we got a knock on the door. Do. Open the door. And it was the press there. No, it was the press. Yeah, it was the press. Cameraman came through. Started asking me questions and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, they pulled out a briefcase, right? And it was like, open it. And I opened it. Do. Guess what it was? It was my Spider-Man costume. What? I was like, what? I couldn't wait to put my Spider-Man costume on, man. I was like, yes. Now we talking. So, put on the costume, right? Put on the costume, and then but there was a malfunction. So what happened was I couldn't breathe in the mask. So what they had to do, they ended up having to cut a hole around the mouth so I could breathe through the mask. I was just like, I had my mouth wide open. I was just like, no, before they cut the hole, that's how I sounded. I was like, they was like, man, we gotta cut a hole so he could breathe. But yeah, that was funny. But anyways, yeah, they cut a hole in the mask. I could breathe now. And I looked like the coolest Spider-Man that there could ever be. And I was the coolest Spider-Man that there could ever be. But the cool thing, later on, they ended up, taking pictures. They ended up giving my sister gifts and stuff like that too. It was cool. It was great. But I ended up being able to watch Spider-Man 1 before anybody else in the world was able to watch Spider-Man. In the hotel room, in my room, by myself. I watched Spider-Man before everybody. Well, not everybody, but before a lot of people. Before it came out to theaters. Crazy, right? But yeah. But yeah, that was that. Well, not that was that. There's more, alright? But anyways. So, boom. Watched Spider-Man, right? Well, actually, I don't know if that's the real order. I don't know the order. It's like all scrambled. But anyways, there's more to the story, right? So anyways. The next part is that they ended up asking me. Well, actually, I think this was at the beginning. They asked me like what my favorite things was and stuff like that before I made a wish. Like they asked me like my personal things was like my stuff, like my favorite food, my favorite color, this and that. You know what I mean? So one of the things that I told them was that my favorite food was shrimp. So we ended up pulling up to a restaurant. Well, actually, it's a culinary college. We ended up pulling up to this culinary college, and my whole family was there, and they surprised me. And I got in there, got into the restaurant, and then I was surprised with nothing. It was like a room full of Spider-Man gifts and Spider-Man decorations all over the place. Spider-Man on TV. It was dope. I was like, yo! They gave me a Game Boy with Spider-Man games on it. Oh my god. Yo. I was so happy. My family was there, and there was nothing but shrimp in that mug. They cooked nothing but shrimp for me all over the place. All different types. We got the sauteed shrimp, we got the fried shrimp, all the shrimp. I couldn't believe it. They actually made my wish come true, yo. I got there. We started eating, right? Eating, enjoying all the shrimp. Then I think there was a presentation, right? on the screen. And guess what? It was a message from the Green Goblin himself. And guess what he said? Guess what he told me? While I was in there with my family and all that stuff, chilling. Guess what? The Green Goblin stole my mom, kidnapped my mom while we was in there eating shrimp and enjoying all the Spider-Man gifts and stuff like that. Oh my God. Yo, what? But anyways, they kidnapped. My bad, I keep saying they. The Green Goblin kidnapped my mom. I'm over here tripping. I'm like, yo, what's going on? Where's my mom? And then, so I teamed up. Hold on, my bad, I keep jumping ahead. My bad, I'm new to podding. So, anyways, wait, this might not be in the right order. It might be. But anyways, so my mom was gone. She got kidnapped by the Green Goblin. And then I had to team up with some heroes to go save my mom. And the heroes was no other than Spider-Man himself. He helped me save my mom, and we ended up having to trace tracks, green slime all over the ground. We had to trace those tracks to find my mom in the freezer. He was trying to freeze my mom. So me and Spider-Man saved my mom from the Green Goblin from putting her in the freezer and trying to freeze her. And after that, me, Spider-Man, my mom, and my family celebrated. We celebrated. And after that, after we was done eating and stuff like that, we went outside. And there was a giant mountain climbing thing. And all the kids was able to do the mountain climbing thing. Wow. And guess what? That wasn't it. That was not it. Then all of a sudden, something else happened. We got a message, an emergency message from the police. The police said that Sparky Sun Devil had got kidnapped and I had to save him. So later on that night, at the halftime show at the ASU Stadium, we found more tracks. And it was just me this time. We found more Green Goblin tracks. And then we had to follow the Green Goblin tracks. Actually, it was me and my dad and my mom. We teamed up to help find Sparky and save Sparky, from the Green Goblin. So I teamed up with my mom and dad. And we made our way down from the inside of the stadium to the field during the halftime show. And then we seen Sparky Sun Devil caught in a net. We seen Sparky Sun Devil being harassed by the Green Goblin. So me, my dad, and my mom, we went down on that field. We beat that Green Goblin up, and we webbed him up. And we saved Sparky Sun Devil. And then the whole stadium went crazy at the ASU halftime show when I saved Sparky Sun Devil from the Green Goblin for trying to mess up the halftime show. And then, man, whoa, we celebrated. Cheerleaders was there, football players was there, high-fiving the crowd. I was high-fiving the crowd on our way back into the stadium from the field like a real champion does. It was great. It was great. Wow. I was so happy. But anyways, right? After that, I did an interview on the news. They asked me questions. What'd I do? I saved my mom. And I saved Sparky Sun Devil from the Green Goblin. Don't quote me on this. That's not the quote, but basically that's what I said. But I'm pretty sure we'll find the footage one day out there. And if you have the footage, please let me know. Oh, I can't wait to see that. Oh, I can't wait to see that. What a precious memory. But yeah, that was the night. That was a day, actually, all in one day. What a crazy day! What a beautiful day. As Spider-Man, and I ended up later on, afterwards, I ended up getting tickets to go see the Phoenix Suns. So I went to go see the Phoenix Suns with my mom and my dad in a box at the Phoenix Suns Stadium. That's dope. Yeah, and that's the memory. That's the memory of my Spider-Man day. It was one of the greatest memories ever, you know. But anyways, yeah. But now we could talk about, you know, how that inspired me throughout the years, and how it affected me as I grew up, you know. But anyways, after that happened, how was life after all? Such a fun day. Life was great. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, my room was full of Spider-Man toys for a long time. Like, just full of my gifts. Like, my Spider-Man toys for a while. So it was just like a vibe for a while. You know? It was just a vibe. Then, after that, yeah, yellow, yeah, check, yeah. That was just a vibe, you know. It was just a vibe for a while. But yeah, that was cool. That was a great memory. But how was life after that? I grew up a little bit, like a few years later, and my mind was like on other stuff. You know what I mean? I'm a kid, so it's like I just grew up. You know what I mean? I grew up. Yeah, I still remember being Spider-Man, but when you're a kid, every day is like a plethora of memories. You know what I mean? Like, every day as a kid, because your brain's like a sponge. You're just absorbing all types of information. So it's like you just grow up and you just kind of like, it kind of goes into the back of your mind. But that's how it honestly was. Like, it wasn't, well, if it was different where I was talking about it every day and it was always like, just, you know what I mean? Yeah, but I eventually just started living my life, you know. But how was I as a kid? Well, I would say I was a video game head. You know what I mean? I love video games as a kid. I love playing my video games. You know what I mean? My favorite games. Um, I grew up playing PlayStation and Nintendo, but mostly PlayStation. Yeah, I grew up playing PlayStation. My favorite game was Kingdom Hearts, but it took me 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It took me 5 years to beat that game because I was too young when that first came out to even understand how to play it or get it. You know what I mean? So I was just frustrated at that game for a long time, but it took me 5 years. I beat that game. I got that game when I was 8 years old, and I beat that game when I was 13 years old. Literally 13 or 12 years old. Yeah, 12 years old. 12. Yeah, I was 12 years old. I was 12 years old when I beat that game. But anyway, I just grew up like playing video games, and to be honest, that's pretty much most of my life, just playing video games until a certain point. Not most of my life, but until a certain point, until playing video games and drawing. My bad. It's just I didn't really think about it like this, but just potting for the first time. But video games, drawing, video games and drawing. Video games, drawing, cartoons, watching cartoons. That's what I ended up just doing, like just living like a regular kid life. You know what I mean? Video games, cartoons, and drawing. All the way up till graduation, like high school graduation. You know what I mean? That's pretty much all I did. Like I didn't really have sickle cell, so I couldn't go out and do a lot of things. You know what I mean? Well, I'm jumping too ahead. See, this is potting. Potting is new to me, so I gotta keep going back. My bad, y'all. I gotta tell the story slow. But anyway, so where should I start? Where should I continue, actually? Alright, let's start at, let me not skip to high school right now. Let me do some elementary. So, growing up, who was I around? I was around me and my sister, and like partners in crime. You know what I mean? Like we did everything together. Me and my sister, like in elementary. You know what I mean? We got into fights together with people. We got into, but we didn't do like fights like we were bad. Like we defended ourselves together. Basically, that's what I mean. We defended ourselves together. We, watched movies together. We had a collection of movies. We would just sit there and watch Disney movies all day. Disney movies all day. Not just Disney movies, but like all other types of movies. But we just watch kid movies all day. That is my best friend, my sister. Growing up. But yeah. Anyways, grew up, graduated elementary, then got to high school 2009. I started high school, I was 13, 2009. 14, 2009. 13, 14, 2009. Yeah, high school was pretty fun. High school was fun. Had a lot of experiences, but not too many experiences in high school. Mostly just going to school and going back home. You know what I mean? But I was a consistent student. Just because I was a consistent student doesn't mean I was a good student. I was a consistent student. Like, I'll show up to school most of the time. I'll miss some days from being sick, but I'll show up most of the time and just do my work and then go home. So that's how high school was for me. I barely started going out and doing stuff with my friends in my senior year. In my senior year, that's when I started going out and like hanging out with my friends. But most of the time in high school, I was just like just going to school and just like going home. Like, there's stuff that I wanted to do, but I couldn't do it. Like, I wanted to join the baseball team, but I couldn't because my sickle cell. I asked my doctor, and he said he didn't think that it would be safe and stuff like that. So, but high school overall was fun though. Like I don't really miss high school, but it was fun. Like, we had like events and stuff like that. Like, regular high school events. Like, but at our school, we had the radio come through every now and then, and they would DJ for us at our lunch and stuff like that. And then the students would start dancing and stuff like that. And like, it would be fun. Like, but I remember those days. Like, but it's just high school. But after I graduated high school, right after I graduated high school, I started doing music seriously. I started off with making. Well, actually, before I graduated, I made some music. So let me go back. In like 2012 or 2012. In 2012, I made a song with my sister, and I produced a beat. And I think I was like 17 years old when I made this song with my sister in high school. I made this song. It's crazy. I forgot about that. I made this song in high school, and I posted it, and then nobody really talked about it, really. But it was known though. It was known. Like, it was pretty known. Like, it was pretty known throughout the community, the high school community. But yeah, I made my first. Well, not my first song. I made my first song when I was 6, but I made a song when I was a teenager. Still in high school. One song. With my sister. Yeah, me and my sister were pretty active in high school. I'm tripping. Like, okay, so look, so this is it, right? Me and my sister we hang out with the same people. Like, and the girls, I hung out with girls growing up because of my sister. So me and my sister had the same friends, you know what I mean? So I came up with girls. But I had male friends too, but I had girlfriends. Like, growing in high school, and we'll go out and go to house parties and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And like, but it'll get crazy though. So, but that's how I grew up. Like, I grew up like in high school. I would just go to high school. I'll just go to school and then I'll just go home. But we'll hang out outside of school though. But I didn't hang out with my friends, like my school friends outside of school. I hung out with our friends that we met in the neighborhood and stuff like that. Like, and then like in some like a few like school friends. But these friends, we met them from school, but we lived in the same neighborhood. So it was like neighborhood friends. Well, you could call them school friends, but I don't know. Never mind. It's like a mix between school friends and like neighborhood friends. Because we would just hang out just because we would see each other like across the street, like from our house. So it was just like that. Like, but I don't know. I guess you could say, I don't know. We just had friends. I guess we just had friends. We'll hang out, but yeah, it was pretty cool. But anyways, after high school, I started making music. Yeah, right after high school, I started doing beats and writing songs. It was fun, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was inspired. Like, my inspirations at the time was, well, damn, I forgot details when I was young. I'll go back. All right. So I have uncles and stuff like that rap, and they're cool, like super cool, like great at rapping, and that's where I got a lot of my skills from. But I grew up rapping, and I formed my style from my uncles. But in high school, of course, I was listening to people like Kendrick Lamar, Drake, J. Cole, and stuff like that, the big three and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like everybody else. And then after high school, you know what I mean, I was inspired to rap. Like, I was like, yes, like, I got free time, and I just want to be a rapper, you know what I mean, period, because I grew up doing this, you know. So I was like, yeah, I want to be a rapper. So I was just like, you know, I was just making music. So I just started making music right after high school, stuff like that. But a year later, I ended up working with some people like that I met on SoundCloud and some friends and stuff like that. Made my first EP in 2014, and yeah, I just was collaborating and stuff like that, working with people. You know what I mean? Met a lot of people, and that's where I am today. You know what I mean? Met a lot of people in music, doing music, stuff like that. I can name people, but I'll probably save that for another time and stuff like that. I'm not really trying to name a bunch of people unless they're trying to pod with me. You know what I mean? And we could talk, like, because I met a lot of people, you know, and I'm proud of everything all of my work, you know what I mean? So, you know, but yeah, yeah, like, that's where I am now, like, just in my music zone. Well, y'all know where I'm at, really, but it's just like I'm just saving content for later, you know, but in realistically though, like, I got here on music, like, straight off of music, like, where I am today, like, from birth all the way to my 30 or today, from birth to today, it's just all music work that got me to where I am today. The ships and stuff like that I'm going to talk about later, the National Mary Shape ships, that barely happened months ago. So I'm not really ready to talk about that yet. I want to talk about my life yet first, you know what I mean? But this is the first episode. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I appreciate everybody everybody that listened all the way through. It doesn't really matter if you listen all the way through, but if you did, hey, I appreciate you. I'm about to make these episodes every day. Hope you guys looking forward to it. Talking about life and things like that. And yeah, I hope y'all looking forward to every episode and of the Carcell Pod. And I promise I'm gonna bring consistency. You know what I mean? And really do this for you guys. All right, peace. Y'all have a good day. Bye. All right. Peace. Bye-bye, y'all. All right.